I wanted to, no weirdo. I wanted to grab this little boy, put him up on a table, and tell him, show these grown ass people know that don't know how to do it, how to do it. That's that right there made me feel okay. We got some hope in the world. That little gesture, that little he was respectful. He spoke up. He said his name. He put his order in. Somebody raising this boy right. And you the youngest one out the group. Out of all the rest of them, y'all don't know if these your brothers or what. Something was missed. And I've been saying this for years since doing the work that I've done. I highly believe. I used to believe everything was nurture, meaning every the person you become is just because off of the experience that you have in life. Simple as that. You can tell me I argue to death. Then I went to I went to college.
Love it, man. 25 lighters on my dresser, yes sir. I got stuck, get paid. Bit, then it won't be a little hit. Go read a book, you illiterate. Son of a bitch, step up your vocab. Don't be surprised.
To these false accusations, they faking the shaking, cause the money you're making, bricks some
money on the dresser, drive a compressor, top notch, get the most.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's your host, Drake B. Drake with Everythang Culture, the podcast for all cultures, the podcast for the purpose. And this evening, Sunday evening, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're back with another Sunday Night Live. We do this every Sunday evening. We chop it up with our audience, so y'all just go hear me talk either way. And we started to repurpose these lives, and we share them on Wednesdays or Thursdays or Fridays. We go get it on Wednesdays, and and we just chop it up with our folks. Hey Jay, what's going on? But we appreciate y'all being here. If this your first time here, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you being a part of this experience of everything culture. And yeah, we are good to go. I am turning 40, what, 40 in 25 days. And it is, it's wild. It's wild. And I'm blessed to be here. And I just been, how do you say, recollecting, reminiscing about experiences and life and just where I'm at now and where I'm going. And if the Lord allows me to get there, where I want to go, let's just say that. And yeah. I've been trying to work out. Today is the first day. I'm not going to gym, but I am working out at the house. Okay. A brother body is woe down between doing these 5Ks a day, lifting weights from upper body and lower body, abs, you name it, to this heat, this Texas heat, baby. It'll wear you down. It'll wear you down. But I'm just happy to be here once again. It's truly a blessing. The invites will be out probably during this episode, during this conversation here, August 1st. We're doing an Everything Culture meetup. We have some spots that we're choosing. I'm gonna make sure to send to y'all directly if you're interested. If you're in the greater Houston area, if you want to slide through, we'd love to have you. We will be attempting to having a live episode, live podcast here in Houston. We're setting up those points. Got to make a little changes here and there, but it will come through. But yeah. Oh, definitely. I slept good last night. So, oh my goodness. Listen, Amazon wish list will be updated and posted just in case y'all in a given spirit. If it's in your heart, we'll love you and we appreciate you either way. But boy, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Make sure to tap the screen, share the live, hop in the chat, all that good stuff. I just want to make sure everybody's being acknowledged. But boy, I definitely feel the 40. Okay. I hope I'm not turning into like a grumpy old man and nothing like that. But boy, I've been feeling a little bit this and that, and I gotta ask y'all experience about things. Okay, when y'all had y'all first jobs, like what was your what was your first job? Okay, y'all know last week we talked about a little bit of elementary school. I can jump into middle school a bit. I talked about my first crush. I talked about my first time I realized I was different. But in the spirit tonight, I want to talk about man working. My first taxable job was Eckert's Pharmacy. Okay. If y'all don't know nothing about Eckert's, y'all ain't really in the midst of conversation. Because once again, this is a 40. This is a not, this is a you about to be 40-year old conversation. And Eckert's was basically it was CVS Pharmacy bought out Eckert's. Before you saw CVS and Walgreens, I don't really remember seeing a Walgreens, but I remember seeing Eckert's everywhere. That was the thing to see. All right. And that was my first job. And when I say I got my first job 2 weeks after I turned 16, like I got right into the field. I don't know why. I know why. I wanted a thing called a cell phone. I wanted a cell phone. That's it. That's all I wanted. I wanted a cell phone. And my auntie, she got me what she can get me, but she said she ain't get me no cell phone. I got to get my own cell phone, and I had to pay my own bill. Y'all, y'all don't feel me. This is the day before where I don't know everybody had their experience, but that was my experience. When I started seeing my little cousins and family members and my friends get their kids cell phones and they like 5, 6 years old. What? I ain't hating on them, but what? I had to work. I ain't stopped working yet. All because of a cell phone. But I got on at Eckerd's. I remember you had to go in and fill out the application by hand, pen and paper. I don't know which one is harder now. I don't know which one's harder now, filling out pen and paper and turning it into someone directly, or actually having to just fill it out online, you know. I can't say which one. Y'all make sure to tap the screen, share the live, tap the screen. But man, it was an experience. But you know, God blessing, I was able to apply and well, I applied right when I hit six. On my birthday, I think I applied, or I think I applied maybe a little before. Oh, we got home. First taxable job was Walmart as an overnight stalker. Then we got Her World. Super One Foods was my first job. I worked at Super One for a little bit too. I can touch on that tonight as well. Super One really tried me. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna talk about Super One. But starting on, I still got this shirt. I remember having a blue. You know, it's the blue with the Eckers symbol at the top left. But it was a cool job. I liked it. I had a lot of good experience. And I think my customer service, I think that really lined me up for the workforce and life. My customer service experience is still A1. Y'all don't think so? Hello, Mano. How you doing? I greet my people with a smile, you know, make them feel good, make them feel welcome. That's who I am. I speak up. I'm yes, ma'am, no, sir. I make people feel like you're getting, and I hope not only feel, I hope you know you're getting a quality service here with Everything Culture with Drake. Okay. Had experience. I used to bust. I remember catching this woman that was doing fraudulent checks. It was scamming. I remember I caught her, and I was too young for them to put my name in the newspaper. I was in the paper though. I'm like, hey, that's me. That's moi. Okay. I remember helping my older women walk around the store and put stuff in a basket. I remember when my first manager at the store, I can't think of his name, slimmer white guy, wore glasses. He kind of reminded me of I don't know, you ever watched the Fairly Odd Parents? The neighbor, the teacher, Mr. Crocker or whatever, and he used to be all like Fairy Godparents, whatever. That's who he looked like to me in real life, okay? But he was a cool dude. And I remember one Christmas, I think it was the first Christmas actually, he just up and left, quit. And we ended up getting a new supervisor, and I'm gonna say his name, Bill Mullican. William Bill Mullican was one of the best managers, supervisors a person can have. Let me tell you that. God rest his soul, man. Like he was very caring, compassionate. Nah, he would throw it off. Don't get it twisted. He was from Houston, Texas, too. But this was in Tyler. Bill was a little he was very polite, Very nice. He had his wife, he had his daughter. They would come and visit him, bring him food and things. He was a little out of pocket sometimes. He said some things. He was very the word we can use is crass, occasionally inappropriate behind closed doors. And but being 16, 17, working there and having a person like that, but cared about you meant a lot. Okay. It meant a lot. Even when we busted a person, he was right there. He was a big dude too, big dude, but man, just really a good guy, man. I always drunk his, I want to say it was, he always loved his Diet Pepsis. And it's wild, I remember that. That was over 20 years ago, y'all. 24 years ago. Okay. But he just was a great guy to work for. I never forget that. And I'm glad I had that experience with him. He used to tell me stories about going off to college, making sure to protect yourself from physically to your items and your most precious and your jewels too, if you know what I mean. And have that. Listen, HR didn't know none of this, but all these things, he gave me a lot of advice as a young male, not just as a worker as well. Um, when my best friend got shot and killed, when my like he knew a lot, he cared. That's the one thing I want y'all to understand. He cared about his employees. It wasn't just me. Now he gonna say something. If you trying to BS him, he gonna call you out. He wasn't just no pushover, but Bill was a dope guy. And it's crazy. We didn't realize this. He kept saying he knew me from somewhere too. He kept looking at me and say he knew me. And when we first met, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. New white guy. What you talking about? And he goes, I'm gonna figure it out where I know you from. He'll see my auntie ask my like, but one day I came into work. He called me in the office, and when you walked in the door, that CVS ain't. I mean that walk. It went to once again CVS Walt Eckers, but it ain't even there no more. I think they turned into a Dollar General. I don't know if they even open anymore. But I remember it was out Gentry Parkway. But the thing is, you walk in the door, and right to the right is his office, right in the front. And he called me in, and he's like, Baskin and Robbins. And I was like, what you talking about? And he just said, Baskin and Robbins. And I started clicking. I'm like, yeah, I haven't been to Baskin Robbins in a minute. He was like, your grandmother used to bring you and your little brother into Baskin Robbins every Sunday after church. And I was like, you ain't the ice cream man. Boy, man, when I tell you that, it goes full circle because man, my grandma used to take us to, once again, my little fat ass little love Baskin Robbins, boy, still to this day. Okay. To this day. And hey, Rello. And I gotta say that experience was such realizing like he been knowing because he was super kind, super sweet guy. My grandmother loved him and always had a treat. I couldn't even remember his name because I was a little kid at the time. But it was like I'm working for him now, and just it's weird to have that type of experience. And he was already cool, but now he like, man, he remember my grandmother Estella, and she used to really be on you boys and redirecting y'all. And he kept saying he remembered me, and I just love that connection we build with community and people. But it's crazy that I'm saying all this positivity. Hey, Cecilia, welcome in. I'm saying all these positive things, I'm because I love sharing life, and that was an important moment in my life. I ain't gonna say too impactful, but that's a moment I remember. And it's like, dang, and just knowing how my grandmother set the standard of connection, love, and value to years later, my future supervisor, manager, still hold that connection with me. I'm gonna say this though, going all of that positivity, that love, that good feeling, got me in a few tears right now. And I asked y'all earlier, what was y'all first job? Some people said Super One. That's a grocery store in East Texas. Some people said Walmart. Okay, y'all know what Walmart is. But boy, I don't know what's going on with this. The youth we had with the youth here just sorry. Gosh. I don't like going. I see what online shopping is about to take over. These automatic kiosks and cashiers, all this is about to take over. And I'm used to be an advocate. We need human people. We need humans to have the human connection. But I am feeling more and more and more and more to that point. Some of our youth are acting like bots out here. They don't act like they're human. They have lost their human connection. We can blame it on the pandemic. We can blame it on the educators. I blame it on the household and the family. But at the end of the day, what can we do to make it better? And I'm not just talking about with just in the work, like the customer service speech. That shot, it goes both ways. Because having a positive customer service experience is on the customer and the customer service representative. Okay. I believe that's a two-way street. It's fluid. You have to be just like, once again, what's our pillars here at Everything Culture? Respect, communication, and consistency. That consistency is a fluid back and forth. It's going to be real hard for me to respect you when you don't respect me. It's going to be real hard for me to communicate with you if you don't communicate with me. Are we making sense of this right now, y'all? Y'all following me? So yesterday, I was working with my partners and my people, my family. Okay, they have a great thing going. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you, Ms. Ego. Now I could talk about, man, when I go to certain places and young folks don't listen, and I'll be patient with them, and they just over there playing it on the phone. But I saw both sides of this yesterday. This is on the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to y'all too. Once again, if I didn't say it earlier, happy 4th. I saw because I usually run. I'm the customer service representative. I'm still cold at it years later. I'm still master of it. Now, once again, it's hot. It's cool. But I make people feel good. I know how to extend the line. I know how to make sure when things get over. I know we communicate. I'm talking to my people in the back. It's not just me doing one thing. We all work together. Thank you for the love, chocolate doll. So, what was your first job, by the way? What was your first job? First payable job coming up? But I'm like, okay, I'm handling business. And they have the concert going on in the back. They got some people talking and doing all this all over. Why do you send, and it's not just, when I say children, I'm talking about young adults. Because the people we used to talk about children 4, 5 years ago are 19, 20, 21, 22. And they're coming up to you. "Ah, I like to have a vanilla." Hey, what? Say what? Huh? Say I'm getting up. I got damn near my eardrum in the on their tonsils trying to understand what they saying because you whispering. Who told you? And then sometimes the parents or the elder be like, "Speak up," and I'm like, "How they make it in this long life?" Then I have to think about it. We have the internet now. A lot of people don't have social connections and social training like we had coming up. Once again, I'm not blaming the child. I am pointing and I'm recognizing where is it coming from. That's what we do with everything. I just want to know why. How do we get here and how do we fix it? What's the solution? I ain't trying to be nagging all the time, but it is a headache. It is very stressful because I'm trying to talk. Well, let me clear. I'm trying to communicate and I can't understand what you're saying unless you talk to me. What's your name? Odiba. That what? Deba. What? And he look. This is it. Deba? No, it's Devin. Why didn't you? I'm showing respect because I'm repeating it to you. But it's a hack. Hey, Hawk, and I'll be feeling like, okay, that's this old man to me. I'm getting a little frustrated. They just know better. But yeah, listen to me. But listen. There was a group of boys that came up, different ages. The oldest one had to be at least, I'm gonna give him 15. Okay. He came up, other one came up, and they all making no orders and all that. I don't mind. I wish everybody would put the order all on one ticket. That'd make a lot of sense. Thank you for the heart, me, Arnesia. But of course, they're gonna separate the orders all around the place, okay? And they left the youngest one to make an order by himself. He had to be no more than 6 years old. Little. I'm thinking he may be older and just smaller, but he had. I want to say once again but I'm like, why y'all just walk off and he got to make this order? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to. How you doing, little man? Can you tell me what you like? Speak up so I can hear you. I'm prepared to do all that. This little boy, hello, sir. I would like to have a blueberry with this at this size, and I think it's $6. I have cash. I wanted to, no weirdo. I wanted to grab this little boy, put him up on a table, and tell him, show these grown ass people know how, that don't know how to do it, how to do it. That's that right there made me feel okay. We got some hope in the world. That little gesture, that little he was respectful. He spoke up. He said his name. He put his order in. Somebody raising this boy right. And you the youngest one out the group. Out of all the rest of them, y'all don't know if these your brothers or what. Something was missed. And I've been saying this for years since doing the work that I've done. I highly believe. I used to believe everything was nurture. Meaning every the person you become is just because off of the experience that you have in life. Simple as that. You can tell me I argue to death. Then I went to I went to college. Even after college, I majored in psychology, minored in sociology, had a strong emphasis in abnormal and child development. Went into the social work field, working in child welfare. That's when things start seeing. Upbringing it's both. Upbringing has a huge impact, but some people are born to be the way they are and have certain behavior tendencies. I can sit down and I don't try to write a paper. Is I guarantee it's research done but prior to me. But see, I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen children grow up and act just like their parents or their grandparents or their aunts and great aunts and uncles, and they've never met them before in life, but they are behavior wise would do the same exact thing. And it's weird to say because if I'm talking to, thank you for the love, Erica. If I'm talking to younger Drake, I'll argue with my younger self will argue me, and I'm like, you haven't lived long enough. And that's why I see a lot of young folks here on this application here that you ain't lived long enough. And it's hard telling someone who is so in their head that they're right about everything because their own personal experience rather than the wisdom and life of living and seeing different things. And me getting closer to 40, almost here, I recognize that. And I still say, how can we get to that point of sharing it widespread? But sometimes you're not going to be able to. I was that kid that I had good customer service skills. I listened to my elders. I would bring sodas and juice. If I was my auntie and my family know, I would call my aunties. Y'all need me to bring anything, and I'm still like that to this day. Yeah, I can be hanging out with my homeboys. I could be chasing the ladies, whatever the case may be. I could be at the park. I could be somewhere else, but I'm gonna go check on my elders. Do we still have that? Not as much. Just because we don't think people may do that any longer. People do it. Kids do it. You just ain't gonna see it because we didn't see it a lot when we was coming up. So that young man made me. Hey, he made my day. Then I'm gonna add another one. Very rare today. It was kind of rare my day too. Let's be real. It wasn't too frequent when we was coming up, the early 2000s. Okay. The other thing was getting ready to shut things down, and yeah, the work I do, I can tell with not only young individuals, but I'm about to be 40 once again. August 1st, y'all. I'm about to be 40. I see grown folks in their mid 20s and their 30s. even in their 40s, even before that different. And I can think, what happened to you? You know what I mean? What type of trauma did you experience in your life? Who's not loving you at your house? I saw some, some young folks out there that you can tell. Listen, let me see if I can get y'all. What would the young folks used to say when people used to cut up in the street, cut up in public? I don't hear it nowhere as near. That's why I say, am I becoming my elders? Hey, Shanae. But it's something I used to hear all the time. When somebody, a younger person in the community doing certain things that are not respected or not, how do I say? No, it's not a trick question. It's an actual question. They're not acting a way of respectful to themselves or to their family or to their community. There you go, Mrs. Palacios. There you go. They ain't got no home training. And I know that is such a when we say it and we hear it, it comes off such as an insult. But let's be real. Sometimes, like, and I mean this genuinely, some folks don't have any home training. I've said this before on this platform. Some people don't have any love in that household. Some people don't. Some people ain't got food in the refrigerator when they go home. Some people ain't got a mother or a father that's gonna sit down and read to them, tell them right from wrong. They don't have an aunt, uncle, cousin, grandparent that's gonna pull on the coattails and let them know you may not want to do that. Or hey, we're asking even where are you going? Where are you at? But they may not feel that they've been seen in the place of their home or residence. And it's sad. It's truly sad because I believe many children, much of the youth, they want some type of home training or some type of guidance and how they act. And I saw a young woman that she was upset about something. Either she saw that somebody else and her parents didn't have any training of how to do it, and now it's coming down to her. I see videos all the time here on this application and on this internet of adults fighting, showing direct violence of all, once again, of all ethnicities and backgrounds. And I just see the children watching and seeing. I see the children seeing you yell, scream, curse. It's we have it's like the line I used to say the line was blurred. The line is completely almost erased now. And hopefully once again seeing that like with the young woman that came, she was mad because we had to shut down the event. We had to shut down the shop. Okay. We communicated not only first the people who said, okay, this person right here got to be your last order. Okay, no problem. We had somebody another worker. Hey, y'all got to tell these people this is the last order. Okay, no problem. We take the order. The people they still in line. I say, okay, we can't take any new orders. Oh, why you can't take new orders? This and that. That's messed up. Y'all let this person cut in front of me. You can take one more. And she's young, and I'm like, baby, go home. You heard numerous times, but you just go stay in line, and you think you're gonna get what you're gonna get. And I'm seeing it's a lot of other young folks your age. Well, I saw about five, six of them left, but another five, six stayed and just watched her, and she's trying to hype them up to argue or talk noise to me, and baby, it was to the point I really can't even bust up the energy to argue with you because you make yourself look foolish. And when the other youth saw how I was reacting to her, I like, baby, we all hot out here. I understand what you want. I was like, we just can't do it right now. Now, come back next Sunday or next weekend. My people gonna be out here at the pool. Don't mess up your opportunity to have a good relationship with this organization, this company going forward. And well received. She was upset, but I can tell other people received it in a way that she did not want to receive it. as far as always share and always say, they may not get that home training at home, but it's still our responsibility to represent who we are as individuals in the community. And that training have to come from someone, even as a stranger in society. And I can be just that naked. She can dwell on. And I always tell people, this is the information. This is the knowledge. I can just put it down right here, and you do with it as you please. I can't force it down your mouth. I can't pour it down your throat, anything that nature. All thing I can do is tell you this what it is, because some people are never told right from wrong. We have a whole a debate in our community about the song of the summer from Carisha. What was it? Scamming. What's the name of the song? Spin that. And India.Arie saying popular song, good music. I gotta find exactly what you said. I gotta look up exactly what she said, the clip what she said. Because she even came out and said, I never said not to listen to it. I never said not to ban it. I think she said this is what we are listening to right now. And I've always been a person about lyrics. Thank y'all for tapping the screen and sharing the live. But some people, even though I've heard some people argue and say nobody's really listening to the lyrics. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. There's people out here stealing purses, stealing items. There are police officers and like they're making songs catching people stealing and playing that in the background. Once again, my favorite group is UGK. My favorite song is Take It Off. And I would listen to it young, but also I was one of them individuals that I hear a song and I don't automatically think that's the way life is. But can I tell y'all something? I know a lot of people who do. I know a lot of people who thought they were Pope pimps and players because of listening to Too Short, A Ball, MJG, Tila, Suave House. I can keep going. Okay. Music, and this was one of the first conversations here at Everything Culture Season 1. Does art imitate life or the life imitate art? And we came to the conclusion of that episode was like it's both. And we still see it now. But what can we do? I would say we try to push more positive out. That's why I do this podcast here. That's why I come to y'all every Sunday. That's why I try to put out at least episode is should be weekly. Bear with me. Because I know it's a lot of podcasts out here and there's a lot of platforms that's spilling nonsense. And that nonsense is popular. The nonsense is people because it's a lot of folks that love nonsense. It's the blind love being led by the blind. I don't care how you put it. And people know when you keep people confused and lost in an ignorant space, they're easier to control. But when we start recognizing for you to love yourself, for being more in tune with your feelings, your emotions, and for start caring about one another, we start valuing the things that we should more, other than items and people who would just want to manipulate us and control us. I may watch they clone Tyrone tonight. And we watch. I know. We gonna do this more for cinephile culture. I finally watched Boomerang the other night too. Great movie. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. But even with that film there, same arguments we was having back then, the same arguments we having now. But I always say I want to make a difference with my life. And I pray that I made a difference. I believe I made a difference within the 40 years of me living here. Once again, I got a few more days to hit it. But I can say I'm grateful for Mr. Bill Mulliken, my grandmother, my teachers, my family, my wife, my friends. I'm steady, still learning. And yeah, I'm grateful for this. But I ain't gonna keep holding y'all. I appreciate y'all being here. As always, like, share, comment, hit us up on all our socials. And if you ever want to be on the show, let me know and we'll decide. If you know someone that you think should come on the show, let us know too. I will see y'all soon. I hope I see y'all August 1st. We got some events coming up in Houston. But as always, I'm Drake with Everything Culture. This is the podcast for all cultures, the podcast with a purpose. Our mission statement comes from the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which is he believed that men hate each other because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other, and they don't know each other because of segregation. And because of segregation, we have miscommunication. So we graded this podcast here on the pillars of respect, communication, and consistency so we can know each other, so we can love one another. We appreciate y'all. God bless. Peace.